Understanding eukaryotic cells. So welcome back. And if you've not seen the first lecture, please go back and listen to it because it will provide some context before we carry on. But you need to understand that eukaryotic cells have a lot more than just a nucleus, cytoplasm, and a cell membrane. That is perhaps how far you explored cells at GCSE level. But you need to understand that there are certain components that are essential to the cell. Mitochondria, for instance, are throughout cells of all kinds within a multicellular organism and provide it with energy, the energy that it needs to carry out various different functions. The endoplasmic reticulum can be either smooth or rough, and well, if it's rough, it means it is involved in protein synthesis. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum creates lipid. And once protein is created, either by using ribosomes that are free in the cell or ribosomes attached to the rough endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi apparatus process the proteins. So it's worth spending a bit of time looking at a cell and really understanding the components involved. I mean, even if you're not a biologist, I find this very interesting. What's more interesting than knowing how you work and how your body functions at every level? Nothing really. So spend some time and really understand all these strange, wonderful processes that are going on simultaneously while you carry out your day-to-day tasks. So ribosomes function to carry out protein synthesis. They float around in the cytoplasm, and some are attached to endoplasmic reticulum in eukaryotes. And they're found in prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Plant cells are specialized. They have special features that allow them to carry out particular functions, and it's very important to understand why a plant has additional features and requires those, whereas animals don't. So plant cell walls are made of cellulose, and they are flexible yet strong. They provide support, and that's very, very important. The cell wall needs to provide support because plants, like other complex organisms, I mean, I class a plant as complex most of the time, that they need a support system because they do not have an internal or external skeleton. Chloroplasts contain chlorophyll, which is a green pigment necessary for photosynthesis. And in terms of structure, chloroplasts are laid out in a very specific way. The inner membrane forms thylakoid membranes where reactions involved in the creation of their own food or photosynthesis takes place. And when you look at most structures in biology, they are efficient. They try to maximize surface area. So just take a look at this. Take a look at the thylakoid membranes and just have a think about why they might be created in this way. Vacuoles are filled with water, pigments and waste, and help with cell turgor for support. So if something is turgid, it creates support. And at GCSE, you may have read that vacuoles contain something called cell sap, which is true, and contain various dissolved sugars and salts. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of a recap and add a couple of things here and there. Eukaryotes versus prokaryotes. Eukaryotic cells have a nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. Their DNA is linear and is enclosed by a nucleus. Prokaryotic cells, on the other hand, lack a nucleus, and their DNA tends to float around freely in the cytoplasm in a structure called a nucleoid, with additional circular pieces of DNA called plasmids. Prokaryotic cells also have a cell wall, and it's made of peptidoglycan instead of cellulose. And its function is to prevent the cell from bursting when water enters into it through osmotic pressure. So it's circular, the DNA is circular, it's either a nucleoid or a plasmid. And you can see the shape of the bacterial cell here. So, I mean, this one is a bacillus, it's a rod-shaped organism, and it's quite interesting how even the shape of the bacterium itself is looped. And below the purple bacterium we have here, you have a piece of laboratory equipment called a petri dish with a range of bacterial colonies growing in there, sprouting up, and you can see the distinct colonies as little circular shapes growing on a medium we call agar, which is enriched with nutrients that support the growth of bacteria or very specific bacterial colonies. So bacteria have a mesosome instead of mitochondria. Their ribosomes are smaller and they float freely in the cytoplasm. Cells differentiate within multicellular organisms too, and so it'd be worth you having a look at some of the different types of cells that exist within multicellular organisms. For example, sperm cells have acrosomes and more mitochondria to provide them with energy they need to move. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up, share it with anyone who you feel would benefit from this content. If there's anything you'd like, leave a comment, and I will continue making these videos. I took this up as a little mini project just for fun because I enjoy science very much, and I enjoy a lot of other things too, and I work in this field, and I also work in the field of health and wellness, and I just find studying the human body and psyche and what we are fascinating. And I hope that I've at least developed your interest a little.